Hi, today we're going to go through the process of putting inventory into the system. This will happen in scenarios where we have stock that's not documented in the system, but we find it in the warehouse. So we're adding stock that we find in the warehouse to a warehouse bin. Okay, so let's get started. The material that I'm going to look at is 16947. I always like to show the system reaction before, during, and after the posting, so the person viewing this really understands what's happening. Okay, so in this location, I have 200 cartons at storage bin 15C. Okay, let's just say that we go to this location and a person's going to realize that we have extra cartons. Okay. If I look at 16E, I'm going to use 16E because I have some capacity. So for purposes of this, I'm going to use 16. So 16E is the stock, and we'll add a few cartons to it. Okay. So the first thing we do is we go to LTO1. Okay. And what we want to do here is the stock doesn't exist. So we're going to put in movement 999, which is a warehouse movement. And we're going to put in our material 16947. And I'm going to put in a quantity, we'll just add 2 cartons. Okay? I always like to put the unit of measure in there. The warehouse unit of measure for this as a finished good is cartons, but just to play it safe, I did it that way. Okay. So, based on the movement type and based on what we're trying to do here, we're at our main LTO1 screen and we need to define our from location and our destination. Okay. Our from location is storage type 999, 001, and bin diff for differences. Okay. Our destination is where we found it, which is where we found the stock. So 001, storage section 16, and bin 16E. Okay. So I enter my data and I hit enter. Okay, and it confirms the fact that those cartons exist based on the system availability. And you'll notice here our quant numbers are now populated. That tells us that it checked it. It assigns a quant for every material bin combination. If there was any errors, we would see it down here. And it just says check your entries. All it's trying to say is make sure you double check your work. It's what you want to do, and you post it where you want to post it. Now, as soon as I hit enter, it's going to post. So we have our transfer order number at the bottom. And if we go back here to our 16947 material, I'm actually in warehouse 35 and plant 35. I hit enter, and you're going to notice here that we now have -2 cartons in 999 differences. Now, why negative? Because we basically took 2 cartons and moved it to 16E. You're going to notice there's now 91 and not 89. Okay? But we need to update the plant inventory to reflect this. So if I go back to my plant level MMBE data for 16947, you're going to notice here, I can change this to cartons so we can talk apples to apples, that we have, let me go back, I'm sorry, 169, blah, 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 and I want display unit of measure cartons, 16947. Okay. So I have 321 cartons. If we look at our total available stock for this, we have 321.883. Okay, so those match. Okay, however, we have a negative. Okay, so we want to write that negative out of the system so that these 2 numbers will then be reflected. Okay, and I do that by going to transaction LI21. And I'm sorry, LI21. Okay, And if you remember, we put that stock in 947. We put that stock into storage type 999 differences, but I just want to show it to you. Okay. So when I look here for my clearing, I want to look at the stock that's ready to be cleared out of 999. Okay. So to do that, I enter it. Now remember, if there was 50 materials in here, would list them all. It would also select them all. So we want to deselect or select all using these buttons and make sure that we only select the material we want to deal with. Okay? Because we had several cartons, it equals to 12 eaches. We always deal in our inventory in our base unit of measure. Okay? So we deal in eaches. Okay? 1,931 eaches. And we could do the same thing here by changing the unit of measure to inches. Okay. 1930. Okay. So now, when I choose to write this off, I do the same as when I scrap. I hit the write-off button. However, what you're going to notice is because I'm adding stock to the system, and this is a negative number, it adds stock. So if I'm negative in the warehouse, when I write it off, it adds stock to the inventory. When I did my scrap for the stuff that I lost, you would notice that this number's positive. So I write it off. It's doing an update. And if you want to look at the material document, you can. But you'll notice that we added 12 eaches. Okay? So when I come here and I refresh this, my negative 12 is now gone. My 91's still there because it gave me those 91 as soon as I moved it into the bin. And my available stock is now upped. And I can switch this to eaches. 1,943. And if I look here, we're 1943. So we're all in sync. We have no negative stock in our warehouse, and we're all back to even. That stock, notably, would be available to be picked at the point we did the first step. So when we moved it from 999 differences to the bin, we could quote-unquote pick it. However, we wouldn't have been able to do the post-goods issue until the second step is complete. If you have any questions, feel free to contact support at pcf.com. Thanks.